Buttigieg, the now it candidate, I guess. Can he carry this momentum from being able to declare victory in Iowa through into New Hampshire? Does him declaring victory in Iowa mean anything? Well, let's see here. As I said in a few videos ago, the DNC chair Perez calls for a recanvass of the Iowa caucus vote, saying enough is enough, and he wants to try to bring confidence of the American people back to the Democratic National Committee. Let's read this real quick, and then we'll get back to Buttigieg and see if maybe he can possibly take through New Hampshire. I don't know. I don't see it. But then again, and my apologies for getting it wrong, I in no way, shape, or form saw any roadmap to Buttigieg getting to where he is right now. Getting the rural vote definitely did help him a lot. In Iowa, he had more delegates. Bernie Sanders did have the popular vote, however. But him being able to psychologically appeal to the masses with his victory speech was a good plan. And so far, his momentum seems to be working, but let's see. Let's see if it even matters. Democratic National Committee Chair Tom Perez is calling on Iowa Democratic officials to immediately recanvass Monday's caucus votes after days of uncertainty and growing concerns about inconsistencies found in the data. And already there are calls from some candidates' bases saying that, the vote couldn't possibly be fair. There's no way it's going to be fair. And whether it has impropriety or not, it has the appearance of impropriety, which is just as bad as having impropriety on it. It seems like a cheat. It really does. I mean, it just does. Even if it's not or not. Even if it is perfectly, hey, it was just a stupid mistake. No matter what numbers they come out with, there's always going to be this thing of, but is it? But is it really? A recanvass is essentially a double checking of the vote. Iowa officials would have to hand audit the caucus worksheets and reporting forms to ensure that they were correctly calculated and reported. Think Florida all over again. Florida. In a statement released later Thursday, Iowa Democratic Party Chair Troy Price did not address the request from Perez and instead said that the party would take on a recanvass if any of the presidential campaigns request it. And they will, but they have to. You have to. You can't let the American people look at it this way. You got to get that shadow off there, especially if this is what the future of voting is, which I don't know. I mean, progress. This could very well be the future of voting. We owe it to the thousands of Iowa Democratic volunteers and caucus goers to remain focused on collecting and reviewing incoming results, Price said, noting that officials identified inconsistencies in the data and used our redundant paper records to promptly correct those errors. This is an ongoing process in close coordination with precinct chairs, and we are working diligently to report the final 54 precincts to get as close to the final reporting as possible. Confidence, though. Does anybody have confidence in that? No. The whole thing needs to be recounted, and maybe we get the right numbers. I don't know. But Buttigieg declared victory, and he is going to try to take that momentum into New Hampshire, but can he carry it through? Word is that he has a strategy, but you know what? When he gets asked the tough questions, will that strategy hold up? Well, let's see. Buttigieg's plan gets a test at New Hampshire Democratic debate. The former mayor's ability to take a punch is one of the 5 things to watch as the Democratic presidential contenders face off Friday in Manchester. Pete Buttigieg couldn't have planned it better. No, not really. Not really. Which in of itself sounds nefarious, but moving on. 3 days of chaos in Iowa, no vote known, and he was able to claim victory, which gives that psychological boost to the donors and the voters. Everybody likes to vote for a winner. Plus, it gets him in the news and makes his name front and center, which is uber important in an election. Elections are basically like advertisements. You hear it over and over and over and over again, and it sticks in your head, and you go to the store, and you see that brand without realizing it, you buy it. Well, he was able to claim victory over and over and over, and it stuck in people's heads. So let's see if he gets this momentum and carries it through. And again, wow, I can't believe it. My apologies. I did not see a roadmap to Buttigieg getting to this point, so I was totally wrong on that one. I did not see it. It literally, for me, came out of nowhere. I didn't see any political compasses pointing to Buttigieg being that popular. It was weird. So my apologies on that. He got the momentum he wanted and then some, a fact confirmed by shiny new poll numbers, putting him in striking distance of first place in the Granite State. But as 7 Democrats prepare to meet on a debate stage Friday night, Buttigieg would do well to remember what boxer Mike Tyson said about gaming out strategy. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth, Tyson said. Buttigieg figures to be at the center of the ring along with Senator Sanders, who won the popular vote in the first and second alignments of the Iowa caucus, and is the polling leader in New Hampshire. Sanders' campaign says there were enough discrepancies in the arcane state delegate equivalent counts that no one will ever know what the real tallies should have been. And this is Sanders' camp gearing up saying, even if the numbers came out, well, we're going to tell our camp that you can't believe them. Don't believe him. He's not ahead. Something happened. It's weird. And it is weird. It just looks bad. Even if the numbers are 100% factual and correct, it still looks like they're not. You know what I mean? Do I make sense on that? Backers of former Vice President Joe Biden, who finished a disappointing fourth, are looking for signs that he can bounce back. Joe Biden is not going to bounce back. Warren is not going to bounce back because Warren has now some infighting. Women of color departing her operation now. In this article, it says Thursday, 6 women in Elizabeth Warren's campaign are departing her Nevada operation over workplace issues. But the real issue is they felt like the Warren's campaign was using them for virtual signaling only. They didn't really care about their point of view or what they thought or their opinions. They were just being used as virtual signaling, a photo op. So they are leaving her campaign. That's going to definitely affect her. I don't see anybody else having any kind of a chance either. Yang, Thursday's report, he fired a raft of staffers after a poor showing in Iowa. That's a bad thing to do. Come on now. That makes you look like the petty tyrant, you know. It's going to be either Buttigieg or Sanders, but God, I did not expect Buttigieg. I really didn't. Obviously, Trump is on cloud 9. He was acquitted. He's been able to tout that up. Obviously, Trump is the candidate for the Republicans by a landslide amount. Obviously, he's able to take that momentum through as well. The Democrats, I'll highlight it for you so that way we all know where we're at. The Democrats might be able to defeat him just on the strength of opposition to what he's doing. But he looks pretty strong right now. Well, the Democrats couldn't beat him because the Democrats are too busy fighting the Democrats right now and looking like complete idiots, and their staffers going this way and that way, and they are just discombobulated. They look uncoordinated. They look panicked. They look like they have no idea which way they are going. Even their own staffers are finally getting fed up with them. We had staffers calling out their own candidate, saying that our candidate is using virtual signaling. They're not looking to, find out how do we create new jobs. They're just looking to beat Trump and how do we virtual signal. And that's not the way to make a better country. You make a better country by having better policies. That's how you make a better country. Anyways, Buttigieg's messaging challenge. While he has to expect a lot of incoming fire from his rivals and from debate moderators charged with helping vet the new IT candidate of the primary, Buttigieg also has a complicated set of messages to deliver. Yeah, this is where he says he's trying to be more like a center-right, center-left, moderate socialist. How does that work? He'll continue to try to cast himself as a next-generation change candidate who rejects not only the Washington ways of Biden, Sanders, and Warren, but can also bridge the divide between Sanders on the left and Biden's centrist wing. That's what I'm talking about. So you're going to appeal to Sanders' more socialist ideas, and also Biden's centrist wing. Biden's centrist, center-right-ish, center-leftist, moderate. Okay, we'll call them moderates. How? A lot of those policies are mutually exclusive. You see, to me, it more seems like he's just trying to appeal to the masses and appeal to as many of the masses as possible. Yeah, you want me to do this thing? If it makes you like me, yeah, I'll do this thing. You're not going to be able to do this thing, dude. Get real. But he also tried to communicate to the white working class voters who are the foot soldiers of New Hampshire's Democratic Party while setting himself up to try to gain traction with voters of color in Nevada, South Carolina, and beyond. If he can't do that, New Hampshire could be the beginning of the end. And I don't see him getting African American votes. I just don't. There's a saying that's been around for a long time. It's like a unofficial rule that if the Republicans ever get a certain percentage, I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, of the black vote, that Democrats will have decades of no votes. That a Democrat will either never be voted for again, or there will be decades. Well, the Democrats are losing the black vote because now they are realizing that the Democrats are not listening to their opinions. They are virtual signaling. But all this is just my opinion, and I value your opinion. Your opinion matters. People died for it, and I would never for a second think of infringing on it, and I'd like to hear it. What do you think? First off, Buttigieg, did you see that coming? Man, I did not, and my apologies. I'm usually really good at being able to see these sorts of things, and wow, it just came out of the blue from nowhere for me. If you saw it coming, good for you, but tell me how you saw it. What roadmap did you see on him getting to this point? I did not. I thought it would be Sanders by quite a large margin. I thought Sanders actually was going to take a large percentage of the rural vote, quite honestly. But perhaps it was his socialist leanings that the rural vote said, well, no, that's a little bit out. See, socialism in a rural area would be even more disastrous, I would think. Think of California's 50-gallon water limit and $1,000 fine per day over 50 gallons. Well, how's that going to work in a rural area? Do they get exceptions? But I mean, just the policies right there. It doesn't even matter if they get exceptions. Voters hear it and they're like, what? That affects me in this way. But that's what I got. Buttigieg, wow. We'll see about New Hampshire. Can he carry the momentum through? Will Sanders take it? Sanders is very popular in New Hampshire. I think Sanders is going to take it. I feel bad saying that, knowing that Buttigieg blindsided me and came out of gosh darn nowhere. But I'm going to say Sanders takes New Hampshire. That's what I'm going to say. That's how I see it. If Buttigieg takes it, then I'm going to rethink my personal strategy on how I figure out who's going to win, because God, he came out of nowhere for me. But that's what I got on this one. I'll see you guys on the next one.